Sarah and Sam.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you, girls, for meeting with us today and doing this interview with us.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
It's been a long time in the works. I've been wanting to talk to you.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this.
That's cool. No, it's amazing to watch you girls and all the stuff you've been doing lately. You've had like this kind of momentum going ever since I met you back in December.
Yeah, it's been we've been really lucky. We've been kind of getting opportunities since, but we have a couple of duo shows coming up this year, which we're really excited about.
Yeah.
So that's what we're focusing on right now.
Yeah, we're currently in preparation mode for a lot of things, and it's been kind of difficult balancing everything, and this is really the first time we've been able to have opportunities to really get our work into shows like together.
Well, just showcasing what we want to make and what we're like thinking about is it's just really exciting. So
sure. And I guess you have ample time to prepare for your shows coming up compared to like say the Coconut Grove Art Fair. That was kind of hectic, right?
Well, the thing about Coconut Grove was that we ended up selling a lot more than we thought we would. Like the first day.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we were even like here the night of like putting things in the kiln so that we could take it out for the rest of the weekend. But we actually got rained out on, so yeah. But
it was a really great experience. So also the work we were making for Coconut Grove, it can kind of exist in multiple spaces. Like it's not really
thematic or anything.
Exactly. Like we had more freedom in what we were able to create, so we got to play around with a lot of things that we haven't been able to do with our bigger works.
Yeah, that's the great thing about ceramics, I think. Like the like with Coconut Grove, we were able to focus on works that were more functional. And then like
and decorative,
and like more affordable and stuff.
Exactly, much more affordable, right. And ultimately that's important for us because we would like for people to be able to collect our artwork if they can't spend, they can't drop big bucks on it.
Yeah, sure. Not only that, one of the main reasons we participated in Coconut Grove was because Coconut Grove Arts Festival was the first place we ever saw art and the first place we ever saw artists making a living from it, and so many people from Miami go there yearly, and we just wanted to be a part of it. It's part of our history, just being exposed to art.
And as artists, I think there's like a part of us that really cares about being involved in the community and trying to reach out to people that wouldn't normally be into the arts, and also venues where it's not like a gallery setting where people may not even feel like comfortable going to. Like the average person isn't going out of their way to go to art openings on a Friday night.
Right. It could be intimidating for some of the
Exactly.
Definitely.
Not only intimidating, or maybe they just like don't know enough about it to they
might not even know where to go or how to go to openings.
Gotcha,
exactly. Yeah. So we're just trying to kind of like spread ourselves out everywhere so that we can
be accessible to more.
Yeah. Correct.
That's cool. And how far back does that go? Like that experience of you all going to Coconut Grove for the first time?
The very first time we ever went to Coconut Grove, we were in middle school, and I think at that time maybe we had been to like some science museums where maybe we could see some type of art or something, but like we grew up in Hialeah and there really wasn't too much opportunity to see art around here. So my dad, we found out about New World School of the Arts and we wanted to apply to go there, and our dad heard that they had a booth at the Coconut Grove Art Festival, so he wanted to go like get us to meet people from the school or to go see paintings from the school to get an idea of what the artists were doing there. So
yeah, because we didn't have any sort of like training with the arts, and like I didn't even know this beforehand, but there's like even magnet elementary schools that the students focus on different like subjects, but some of them are art magnet schools, so it's generally pretty competitive to get into schools like New World and Dash, and we had zero training. We were drawing anime every day, So we kind of had to start figuring out what was it that we were gonna apply with and how our work was supposed to look to be able to get into the school.
You have to present like a
Like a portfolio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then you
back,
had to,
that was the first time we ever made a portfolio. And I remember my middle school art teacher she wasn't super enthusiastic about helping, or maybe she didn't know, like, maybe she just told me that she'd look over my pieces and let me know if they're okay. But she wasn't really like involved in helping me create the portfolio, so my dad had to just Google like what are the art topics that art can be based off of.
That's cool.
Like creative topics. So
you had a lot of support from your dad?
yeah. I think once we told him that we wanted to commit to this, like he was 100% like wanting to help us. So
Really cool.
we're really grateful. And then he even, through somebody he knew, we met a Cuban artist. His name was Hector Cata, and we started like taking classes under him, and that's kind of what started our education in art.
And was he a ceramicist or?
No, painter.
Cuban
a
painter.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so, what school did you get into eventually?
New World.
Yeah,
yeah,
but that was
yeah.
for high school. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. And is that where you started getting into ceramics, or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Our last year of high school, well,
Yeah.
it was the
pretty
last
much
year,
our last
yeah.
year.
So at the time there was only one ceramic elective, and it was for maybe 4 hours a week total. So actually Sam was taking ceramics at the time.
I guess it was like 8 hours because it was 2 days a week, right? And at the time, so Susan Banks was teaching it, and she's an incredible teacher. And I don't know, when I first saw her working in clay, it was like black magic to me, because she was able to make a portrait out of just like a bag of clay, and it completely mind boggled me, and I kind of got obsessed with clay. And I would even like, eventually we were asking her to stay in for like the college classes, like to be able to use the studio space longer. And then it got
at the time, high school students weren't allowed to stay in school past a certain time, and Sam kind of got special permission to stay in the ceramics room for a bit longer than that time. And sometimes that included maybe hiding in the glaze room so that
because security would come by to lock all the doors, and we weren't supposed to be there, so we would like go hide in the like glaze room closet, like the little closet, until we heard the security like lock the doors and walk away, and then we just like come back out and start working again.
Get out. And your teacher was cool with that, or she didn't know either?
Yeah, I think there was like a secret,
like if the security didn't see you, then
Right.
nope, like did
An
the tree
unwritten
fall
kind
in
of
the forest?
understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But she was really cool,
That's
but
awesome.
if I were to have ever gotten in trouble, I wouldn't like
Throw her under the bus or anything. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean,
And if a security really wanted to kick us out, we would have just said, okay,
Right.
we'll try again tomorrow. but
that's like the grab that ceramics had on me. I wanted to be
That's
in the
amazing.
studio as long as possible.
yeah, and at the time, I was really interested in printmaking, and I was actually focusing on learning different types of printmaking on my own with the help of Kathleen Hudspeth, who was the printmaking teacher at the time. And the college classes took like the space in the printmaking room after school, so I wasn't able to stay in printmaking as long as Sam was able to stay in ceramics. So I had to kind of just wait for her in the ceramics room, and just being around waiting, I ended up messing with clay. And even like I started by making tiny little figurines, and to this day I still make figurines.
Wow.
So I really enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Would you say that like ceramics is kind of like this, you build up to get to a certain level, like the stuff that you're doing, like for, Coconut Grove, that helped you build up to the stuff that you're working on now for your next shows, as far as like the things you were testing that you had?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think every piece you learn a little bit on, and you get to really familiarize yourself with what the clay is capable of,
Right.
or if the clay is too used or stressed, you know, in ceramics they always say clay has a memory, and the more you work with it, the more you can feel when the clay is reaching its point of
Exhaustion. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I think when we have opportunities to do like projects like Coconut Grove, it gives us a little bit of space to experiment or try maybe things we're thinking about doing in our own work.
Right.
Like for shows and stuff, but that we really haven't had the chance to execute yet, and we get to try and do that in like a smaller, like more experimental scale, so that we can. So they're like essentially like tests and experiments.
Yeah. Even for Coconut Grove, when we were making pieces, we were thinking about
Like testing
other
glazes
pieces we want to make in the future.
So whether we're testing glazes or just trying something new out, like we're using functional work to be able to do that.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's all like building blocks to get.
Yeah.
In a way,
I think it's come from the like necessity to continue pushing work, but also
having a limited amount of time. There's only so much time between like the deadlines we have to produce as much work as we can, so we always have to be trying to overlap doing two things at the same time.
Makes sense. Yeah. And so what was next for you after New World then?
We got scholarships to go to the Kansas City Art Institute, where we ended up majoring in ceramics there as well.
Yeah, that school's like pretty well known for its history with clay, and like pretty like big name potters from the Midwest like Ken Ferguson and Victor Babu like built a huge reputation for the school back in like the 70s
and created
and
a
80s.
very rigorous curriculum.
Really?
And it's like there's such a strong clay community that's in Kansas City or like in the Midwest in general that is kind of lacking here, which is why we're trying to really kind of help make a name for clay here in Miami.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Recently we visited the INSICA, which is the National Clay Conference that happens yearly, and we actually got to reconnect with our school, and it was really nice being around so many other ceramicists, and a lot of people were telling us that they had no idea what was going on in Miami. Like they haven't really heard of too many artists from here that are showing ceramics, or they don't know about anything going on here for clay, really.
Yeah, and like so there's like the main studio that's been here for like 80 years now almost.
The
which
Ceramic
is the
League of
Ceramic
Miami
League.
in Pinecrest.
Yeah, we've been getting really involved with the league, just wanting to be more a part of the clay community. But yeah, there's definitely like I feel like there's a lot of ceramicists in Miami, but everybody's pretty separated, so we want to really try and bring everyone together.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think the more we make work, and we put a lot of footwork to being involved in the art community, trying to go to as many shows as possible and workshops and events and all. But in doing that, we've kind of realized there's some gaps in between connections, and we just want to bridge the gap a bit more, like in the ceramics community in Miami. Being around other ceramicists, it felt like nobody really knew about anything going on here, so we really want to help improve that.
Yeah, it's good. What's your plan to do that?
Well, one
Just like you said, like just networking more and.
well,
Not only networking,
like we have a studio too.
Yeah, so alongside trying to grow our careers as artists, we also have a studio, Two Win Studios, and we're currently developing the studio still, and coming up with ways to create opportunities to help bridge the gap. For example,
I know you do like critiques and stuff.
Right, we do open critiques,
artist talks.
We really want to have an event mainly for ceramicists to kind of network with all local ceramicists here. But yeah, I think planning those type of events are good ways to start connecting people, and then when you connect people, that's when more things happen, right?
Yeah,
so,
like we really one thing we would really like to plan is like a kind of like a contemporary ceramic show with all like local artists in Miami, like all local ceramicists.
And then yeah, ways to connect it to more the ceramic community is getting involved in things like having articles or stories written about the events or shows, and then submitting them to magazines like Ceramics Monthly or other ceramic based blogs and those type of things.
Yeah, or even like participating in like the clay conference, things like that can really help build and create like this sort of like knowledge of a community in Miami, and like the more we help foster it, the more you know it'll hopefully connect and grow.
Right. No, that makes sense. That's good. And so this fair or show that you're considering, would that be like during the season, like, or like December time or whatever, like?
No, it would be like in springtime, but for next year. And Inseca's really cool because they change locations every year, and basically all the galleries in that city they choose to ends up having like ceramic shows and stuff.
And a lot of those shows have open calls, so I think even just applying to be part of any show that happens in that area,
and encouraging other
local artists to apply.
But you'd want to bring Sika here.
Oh, that's like a 20-year goal line.
Like,
you know?
how does that work? You apply.
Well,
no. You kind of court them in a way. Right?
In a way, yeah, but there has to be enough of a community here
Gotcha.
to get the people to come.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, I think so. The ceramics world is a little different than the contemporary art world. They it coexist, and there's places where there's crossover, but like in Miami especially, it feels like very separated.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there has to be a little bit more of integrating both together to build any opportunity for Nsika to come here.
Yeah.
But that is, again,
it takes a lot of organization, and that's like a 10 to 20 year plan.
Right on.
But if we can somehow bring Nsika here, that would be wild. That would be like making history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because you'd think that ceramics would be like kind of higher on the pole of art, mediums here in this.
I mean, lately
there's a ton of like ceramic studios that have popped up since COVID. Like I can name like 5 from the top of my head, but the reality is a lot of people that are getting into like ceramics here, like it's like hobby,
right?
Like not hobby, but like more functional work and more like
not pushing the boundaries of
right. But there's a place for that too, because that's part of ceramics too. So like creating a space where even like having a ceramics fair where people are selling their wares, like that's even something that we can try and do, that can help bring like and connect the community,
for
like
sure,
the clay community. It's not, and like that's the thing, changing the perception of what's even valued in like the market, like why are ceramic wares not valuable here like they are in the Midwest? It's because like ceramics doesn't have that kind of weight it does elsewhere. Like it doesn't have the history here as it does elsewhere, so people don't value it the same way. So I think it's like changing the perception of clay in general and ceramics in general to eventually get it to like where
bring up the food chain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy like even talking about this stuff, it seems very ambitious and almost like surreal, like how
we have to start
exactly
with that,
I think after trying or after working on our work in the studio, after doing it for a couple of years, it's just the realities we've come to face. And
it's kind of like, if it's not happening, we're gonna have to make it happen.
For sure.
So we'll get there.
No, it sounds like you got the mindset for it and you have good ideas. So
we've definitely thought about it a lot, and we're like always thinking about it.
Sure.
But you can only do so much in one day, right? And
you got day jobs and
we still have our day jobs. I think it's probably going to be that way for a bit too, so we just have to do what we can with whatever time we have.
For sure. And well, we met at Feria Clandestina. Can you talk about your relationship with Nuria and how you guys met?
So Sam was the first one to meet Nuria.
Yeah, I actually participated in Feria Clandestina last year, but I was literally I was stuck at work at the time, so I could barely even be there to participate in the actual festival. But Nuria was really nice. Like I just proposed something, and she was like enthusiastic about having my work shown. And then this year, you know, she kind of reached out to me, and we formed a relationship. And you know, I introduced her to Sarah, and I showed her work, and then we planned what we were doing for that fair, and it was like a really great experience.
Yeah, she was super encouraging, and she just, you know, sees potential in us, and she is someone who is very generous and like thoughtful, so she was able to kind of encourage us to be able to, you know, even have a space at Feria Clandestina this year.
Well, she came. Yeah, she even came to the studio with her sister, and they, you know, they were interested in what we were doing and our work, and
they got first pick at some of your
stuff.
stuff.
They actually bought some work, and that's like a really big deal for us. Like even having people believe in us is like a big deal, and like showing their interest in our work. Like as artists, sometimes you've been trying for a couple years, and you know, like you get discouraged, but when you find a couple people that are really into your work, it's so encouraging. Yeah. It's like, it's what motivates us sometimes, you know, and it's what keeps the self-sabotaging at bay.
Right. She was telling me about y'all in like November, you know, and I was like super interested in, you know, like she got me, she got me kind of excited about your work and stuff.
Yeah.
No,
so
she's
cool.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like genuinely like, I don't know, she's got a good eye, you know, obviously for talent, you know, and
but yeah, she's a really good advocate for art in the community as well.
Yeah, big time.
And people like that are so key to sustaining the community and helping other artists like develop their own careers in the community. It's really important.
Yeah. You guys did well there. You got a lot of stuff.
The exposure, I think, you know, I think Feria Clandestina is an incredible fair, like the idea of it, the concept, and the experience of it.
We really got to like connect with a lot of people, not just, I mean, people in the art community, but like other artists as well. We got to meet, and we're still kind of keeping up with their stuff, trying to be present for each other. It's really nice, you know,
That's
just being around. Well, like for that show specifically, we were able to be around so many other artists, and what I liked about that show was that so many artists were there present around their work, and being able to have those really great conversations about the work, and even giving each other a lot of advice, and it was a very supportive and encouraging environment for sure.
That's good. And well, you've got a lot of stuff coming up this year. Do you want to talk about some of your shows and?
Yeah.
I mean, you
sorry, the size, just because we do have a lot this year, and it's exciting.
Daunting?
It's a little daunting.
Yeah, I think it's more daunting because this is it feels like a debut almost, you know, like we participated in fairs and group exhibitions, but this is the first time that
kind of out on your own, like.
Yeah.
Yes. So
on both shows?
Yeah.
So we have 2 shows coming up around July.
Yeah.
One Art Space 365 with Mahara, and one at Club Gallery with Amanda Baker. And both of those shows are solos for us. Well, duets. And we've been able to work with each of the curators to kind of develop a theme for each show. And
are you doing individual themes for yourselves or like?
No,
I think
combined.
So similarly to Feria Clandestina,
yeah.
When we were preparing for Feria Clandestina, we had to come up with a layout for the show, and at the time we didn't have it was November, I believe, and we had until December
Mhm.
to get a show together. So we kind of chose a cohesive theme that both our works could kind of respond to.
Yeah, we kind of looked at the work we've been making in the past couple months, and we're like, what is the common theme here that we can like create a show within?
Interpersonal relationships.
Well, that was kind of the work we had been making at the time last
Right,
year.
right.
You know, so we kind of decided and went with the tough love concept
Right, okay.
because
Tough love.
Sarah was making pieces that kind of dealt with that concept, and I had a couple pieces that dealt with that concept, and we're like, you know, we'll use what we have and make some extra work, and then we'll create the show, you know. But in these cases, we kind of
I mean, through that experience, we thought, well, that was like successful because all this work, a lot of people responded and felt like the work complemented each other
Mhm.
well, and we were happy with how
Mhm.
it turned out. So we decided for these upcoming shows that, like, I don't know, we think that with choosing a theme and like curating the show together, like deciding who makes what type of work and
how everything
the layout.
Do you draw like the layout?
Yeah, we do.
we draw the
Space
layout.
planning type
Everything.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are the type who needs to have like a list of things to get done, because if not,
Well, what happens is a lot of the times, and this is through trial and error. Before we've had like exhibition opportunities and stuff where we plan the work we're gonna make, but then halfway through we think of other work that we might think is better for the exhibition, and then you end up like trying to make just way too much work, and you know you're not sleeping for days, and you're asking yourself, why did I decide to make this extra piece?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and it's just because you had a good idea at the time and you feel like it's like you need to make it, you
Yeah.
know.
yeah.
But now we've been like, for the exhibitions coming up, we've basically planned the exact layout as much as possible, the exact pieces we're making, and we're just making them like crossing off each item on a
Cool.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the shows that we're doing, it's kind of like it's kind of you know, when the galleries approached us, we kind of, and the curators like Mahara, she had a concept for like a general concept she wanted us to work within, and that's really fun for us because it kind of gives us the theme.
It
and
takes
we-
that responsibility away from you, kind of too.
Yeah, and it's
then
almost
from there we
collaborative.
can just have more fun coming up with what fills up the space,
Right.
how we fill up the space.
Gotcha.
Yeah, how we want the space to feel, you know, how the pieces are going to be within it.
Yeah, and I think we have like a more installation mindset
Mhm.
about things when we make the work.
Mhm.
I think we always try and make work that really is immersive, in the sense that just being around it makes you feel like you're somewhere else.
Mhm.
Like and for Feria Clandestina, like because of the preparation time, we kind of just made it more simple. But these upcoming shows, I think, will be more installation based,
cool.
because we have the ability to play with that.
Couple months, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we definitely would like to create kind of experiences for shows that are like slightly more immersive than just like having the work displayed on the wall or on pedestals.
Like redecorating the rooms and stuff.
To an extent,
Like
Yeah.
recently at KDR.
yes. So
the-
something like that,
Right.
Yeah, with Joel's show, yeah.
Yeah.
So something similar, but just so that, you know, like Sarah and I, we really want to create experiences rather than just, you know, the basic.
Well, there's already experiences when people go look at the works.
Yes,
but it's
but something extra.
Taking it to another
you know?
yeah, we like decorating things,
Mhm.
and I think we used to host a lot of parties growing up, so I feel like we always loved like the way things come together and putting things together.
Yeah.
It's part of the fun for us.
That's cool. And it looks like you're doing like bigger pieces than you've ever
Yeah.
done before. Is that is
Yeah.
that safe to say? Or and how do you even like put that in the kiln? Like
Oh, so
In
we build it in pieces.
Yeah, we build for the really big work. We build in pieces. Yeah. So currently we've been.
that's challenging, right? Like to
It can be challenging because if the different pieces are kind of drying at different rates, then, or if one piece is too heavy, if the piece on top is too heavy for the piece on the bottom, then it can crack the piece on the bottom.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a
there's
lot
a-
of
Timing and
technicalities
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
to.
which, yeah, you
consider when you're working larger, but we don't really like the league. We joined the league. Part of the reason we joined the league was to have access to larger kilns.
Oh, gotcha.
But even so, the scale of the work we're trying to reach, even in the larger kilns, it would be difficult to fire. So we have no choice but to build things in pieces.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because even transporting the work,
Oh, I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to do in pieces.
Yeah.
But it's fun. We really, we've been wanting to really do things like more figurative work and larger scale work. So it's exciting, like that we have the opportunity to do it. But of course, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. It seems like you like challenges, you guys. So.
Oh.
I don't.
I think we're addicted to this idea that like the next idea's got to be like the
Pushing.
next big thing, and it's got to push whatever we already made.
Right.
You know.
That's
So like we like that the work is evolving, and we like that the work is growing literally, since we're making larger work. But yeah, I don't know. We always feel like we have to be the last pieces we make. You know.
a good way to be, though. It's a good
Yeah.
mindset, I think.
Yeah, I think
And we're pretty competitive, so it
we
doesn't
are.
help.
We are very competitive.
But you have like a totally different. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
clear to tell who did what, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. We always say that if we could, like, be joined together, we'd be a much better artist because we have such different strengths and weaknesses.
Do you
But
help each other? Like when.
Yeah, somewhat.
We've been dabbling into helping each other with our work and
I think we're always
collaborating.
helpful to each other making the work. We'll always ask each other in process, hey, what do you think about this? How's this coming
Mhm.
out? Does this look okay?
Mhm.
We're really lucky to have each other in this space. I mean, there's also times where we fight, but that's part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's expected between siblings, you know.
Well, not only that, I feel like sometimes we're stuck here for so long working
Yeah.
and
We get kind of
tired of each other. Like lately, we don't even have anything to talk to each other about because we're just here all day together.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, what about your plans? You're going to be traveling soon.
that's right.
Can you talk about that? I mean,
I
that's
mean,
an
we
exciting.
do. We do. Yes, we talk
We
about
avoid talking about things because we're already
You don't rock the boat.
overwhelmed with
Yeah.
other things.
Right.
So it's like,
Put
yeah.
your head down and work. kind of
We're
thing.
actually gonna go do a residency in Japan for 2 weeks, but I didn't realize that was happening. Like we're leaving in like a week from now, but we're still finishing work for another deadline. So it's like I don't even know when I'm gonna have time to pack at this point, and we haven't even.
We
Like,
don't know what to pack.
yeah, and we wanted to discuss the kind of work we'll be making over there, but we haven't, like, Sarah and I haven't even had the opportunity to do that. So, I mean, but that's a good point. That's probably something we should talk about.
Yeah.
You could hire someone to pack for you. You know, it's like.
What? No.
No.
I think I'm just gonna, like, throw some clothes in my luggage and, you know.
Yeah.
You should probably
So,
save some space in there for. Your
Well,
cutting
yeah.
it.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
we're gonna
Bring
be
back
taking
some-
materials to work with, so.
I think our concern is more of, like, the materials we're taking
Gotcha.
versus, you know.
Personal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
what's this residency like?
So it's called Fusion.
Fusion. Yeah.
And it's kind of in its first years of
They
developing.
used to they had the residency a couple times before COVID, and then COVID happened, and the
The borders were closed off and all, so nothing was really possible. But essentially, a group of artists are going to work together to create like a group exhibition to happen in Kaga. Kaga, it's in Ibaraki. And
it's like a traditional cultural town, so they practice a lot of traditional, like,
well, I think in Kaga there's all different types of traditional techniques when it comes to the traditional art there. So they want us to do workshops with those
artisans, and then
Artisans, so-
create work.
So kind of like getting some
Yeah, it's
knowledge from
very.
them and
Yeah, I think it's very like about mixing cultures together and you know learning something from like
each other, like
each other in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah, but we like
So I lived in Japan for 3.5 years teaching and working there, apprenticing in a ceramic studio, and because of that experience, and I think that was like a really important time for me in my career in a way. Like it was one of the first times I saw what running a studio was like firsthand, you know, and being involved in it, and I gained a lot living and being like I don't know, just learning, and I really want to be part of the art world over there too. I want to get involved somehow. It's a goal of mine because I made so many connections out there, and I just want to be able to be a part of it, you know. We have friends that are artists out there, and it's like you think because it's on the other side of the world it might be really hard, but once you have a few connections it makes it a lot easier. So this residency we're doing is like I really wanted to do it to be able to make more connections out there and possibly bring opportunities for our art in Japan as well.
yeah, not only that, I think in terms of like growing the studio and like the visions we have, we even think about hosting like a residency and maybe like an exchange between like maybe a Japanese artist and an American artist, and helping
Down the
bring
road.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's down the road. But
So like a part of, so I went to Japan on the JET program, which is this government like affiliated cultural language exchange teaching program, but because of that I became kind of involved in the Japanese community of Miami, and anytime they have or like last week they had a reunion for alumni of the program and different people who are involved in the Japanese community here, and it was really nice because I got to meet people who work for the consulate of Japan in Miami, and I actually learned that there's a lot happening between Kagoshima, which is Miami's sister city in Japan, and Miami. There's always things like there's either people going from Miami over there to like represent Miami in some
like ambassadors?
festival. Yeah, like those cultural ambassadors essentially.
Yeah,
But I
and-
heard that they used to have programs for even musicians to like come here or go over there. So, you know, just being able to have those connections and thinking about the future, like
Well-
it really feels like there could be something that can happen.
Well, yeah,
you
and I
know?
think they're pushing to create some sort of bond between like Japan and America and like Miami specifically,
Especially Miami,
because
'cause-
they're planning to create direct flights from here to Japan. So because of that, they're trying to start like promoting tourism there, and I think Sarah heard at the consulate that they sent DeSantis over there.
Wow.
Even
So that's
So-
probably going to get canceled now because
right,
obviously who wants DeSantis?
right.
I mean,
Just
But I
kidding.
mean,
just kidding. I
yeah,
love
either way, whether you like DeSantis or not, like there's still this push to create a bridge between
sure,
Japan and Miami.
I just
And if we can like jump on that, then why the hell not?
no,
You know.
I agree. No, that's cool.
So
yeah, I mean, thinking about it now, it's pretty like
ideal, like
the timing of things makes sense.
Very cool.
yeah. So I think we just wanted to go kind of get our feet in the art communities over there and see if we can like build connections so we can like start trying to get work out there.
Yeah, but while we're there, like we won't have access to ceramic facilities, so we'll be able to work on 2D work, which is really nice. We've been wanting to do that, but ceramics has been taking up so much of our time.
Yeah, it'll kind of break up the routine and stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
But are you going to be including 2D work in any of your shows?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we also paint and stuff. We just we neglect it a lot, but we're trying to get back into it. So the forcing ourselves into it is a great, like, the great way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, oftentimes, like, clay is just too, like, time consuming.
Demanding.
And demanding, so that's what we end up focusing on. And we should, like, we always aim to create a balance, but we never have.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when you have all the facilities here and, I mean, the equipment, and, you know, I can see why you would.
Yeah, I mean, the painting, we have a room in the studio for painting. It's just
Well, Javi has been taking
yeah,
over.
at the moment
It's filled with cobwebs right now.
no,
Just
no,
kidding, I'm
no.
kidding.
No,
I mean,
no.
our
We
corner of it,
actually
so-
started renting out some of the space in the studio to another local artist he lives like literally a couple blocks from here, and we've
Nice.
been sort of mentoring him. Like we kind of found him. We participated in a group exhibition, and at the time he was mostly making fan art. Which is ironic because that's kind of how we started making art in the first place. We were just kind of making, like,
Yeah.
drawing anime
Magazine.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's, like, you know, he started dabbling into making his own work, but his whole background in art was making fan art.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he also just, like, he never got the opportunity to go to a magnet school or
an art
anything.
school,
Yeah.
like,
And he went to school in Miami-Dade College
in Hialeah, the
and
campus here.
They
Yeah.
have no art classes at all available.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, so-
It seems like that's a trend that's been happening for like the last 20 years. Like, it was like, I don't know. It's strange how they're cutting.
Yeah, but especially in Hialeah, there's, like, charter schools, and I think a lot of schools here, like, the magnets that are, like, in the schools are, like, more business oriented or, like, entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
those sort of things. But there's, like, no real big push for art in this community, which is why we're trying to change things
it.
around
Yeah,
here.
so
And it's cool to have someone local that is into it and kind of like didn't have that background as far as education, but is still like motivated and inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason we agreed to, like,
Sharing our
our space and renting out a space was because he's so eager to learn
Mhm.
and to improve and to just make work. And
Who is he?
his name is Javi. Javi, he's good old Javi. What's his last name? I forgot.
We're terrible with
We're
names.
terrible. Yeah.
Javi Air. No.
No. So Javi, yeah. He's a great artist though. He's really
Yeah.
dedicated. It's really funny. He works at the Planet Fitness nearby, and he
fun.
actually paints during his job. Like, he takes small canvases and
Like
he
while
will-
he's curling.
yeah,
he's
because
like,
no,
He works at the desk,
but he works in
the
the
night
graveyard
shift.
shift.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So
a lot of free time.
a lot of free time, and nobody, like, really can tell him what to do or what not to
Right, right.
do. So he just takes his canvas and his paints
That's
to
awesome.
work, and he paints. And he tells us stories all the time about people who come up and talk to him about painting, and
Get out.
they'll say, "Oh, like, I knew this painter once," or "I know this down the street. You should go meet him."
Get
Yeah,
out.
it's really
And-
interesting. It's like, just because he's so adamant about making artwork and
Yeah.
he's, like, present somewhere making it, like, we somehow get to know other artists in the area.
That's cool.
Like,
There's another bridge to.
yeah,
Exactly.
But that's why, like, Javi's somebody we really wanted. Like, when we met him, we were, you know, a little maybe hesitant, but we love his enthusiasm.
Is he like total
And-
fitness all the time? Like.
No.
No, I'm joking. I'm
No,
joking.
we get along because we have similar interests, like all the weeb stuff and
They do training together here at the studio
yeah, like
sometime.
we'll
for-
like do boxing sometimes.
Get out, that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Girls, I wanted to ask you one thing here in closing. Obviously, you know a lot about the Japanese culture. What is the best place to get sushi in Hialeah?
In Hialeah. I think the closest place from here to get the best sushi would probably be Shima's, and that's in Miami Lakes.
Yeah, I think. I mean, dismissing sushi sake.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
let's not. I mean, sushi sake. Listen.
It's decent.
Listen.
No, it's good for what it is, yeah.
So first of all, sushi here is
In
not.
America.
It's not really like what sushi in Japan is, because I mean, here we, like in America, most places have rolls, right? And that's not really what sushi is in Japan. It's
More
usually
sashimi?
just I mean, it's just the sashimi with the
Rice.
rice.
Yeah.
So, like, ask any Japanese person if you see any type of like fancy like fusion sushi roll, like that's not sushi. But I love American sushi, and I love the fusion aspect of it. So I mean I appreciate all sushi. But yes,
A little platanito, you like it?
yes, I love when they add stuff like that, or like adding mango to it. Come on, where are you gonna find that in Japan? You're not. So, anyways, Shima's, yeah. So Shima's is in Miami Lakes. It's like this little hole in the wall type of place, and it's a like conveyor belt sushi, but it's on little boats instead.
Okay.
And they have like it's decorated really nicely. The staff is always really nice. They have drinks, and they've expanded their menu to have other Japanese food as well. Like they have karaage, which is the fried chicken,
The unagi don.
unagi don, like eel bowls, and they have curry. They have it's like basically homey, like
Like a
izakaya
izakaya.
food, but also sushi.
Cool.
Yeah, so
We're gonna look for that.
highly
place.
recommend it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And girls, thank you so much for.
Yeah, thanks for
meeting
coming.
us. This is
It was
really
so
fun.
nice. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, we're gonna look out for your show in June. Is it
July.
June?
July.
The first one's gonna be at the Club Gallery, or
Or
they're-
Art Space 365, and then Club Gallery, and then
are they simultaneous? Like,
around the same month.
right?
Yeah.
But like not opening on the same day. Or
No,
that'd
no,
be
no,
crazy.
No,
Yeah.
that's
and
not happening.
then
No.
and then at the end of the year, we actually also have a show at MDC Hialeah. Like so.
The TV station.
No.
No,
the
Miami-Dade College.
Oh,
The
I thought you said
Hi-
NBC.
Sorry,
No, no,
MDC.
no.
MDC. Oh,
MDC
gotcha.
Hialeah.
Yeah,
Right,
they
cool,
have a gallery there. That's
Okay.
actually where we first, like,
Exhibit.
yeah, where everything started for us recently, like in the past year, was exhibiting there in a group
With
show
Noor.
with
Oh.
Noor. And yeah, she really liked us, and we're really lucky to have another opportunity to have a show there.
Cool.
But
And
it's,
that's a solo one too.
it's also
Yeah.
solo.
Especially
so,
like being able to do it on like a college campus is really fun. You know, like get all the students to go and see the work.
The Young Bloods.
definitely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, girls. Well, we'll be looking out for
Yay.
the information on these shows. And
Thank you.
Thank you.